we saw with Jona Nareki in that Chiefs-Highlanders game, when a guy's got that touch, how important it can be to turn a game on its head. You know, the Chiefs possibly would have won that game if he wasn't on the field and making those touches.
And how good is it to see the Hype 15? You know, he was in that selection for that Hype 15, and, you know, Caleb Clark's got some pressure on him because I ended up selecting Caleb Clark ahead of him, which, you know, makes me nervous now. You know, but it seriously was a one-man show. If you look at it, is a positive for the Chiefs, because it was one-on-one missed tackles that led to, you know, 3 sort of freakish tries, a try assist and 2 tries of his own. So it would have been a lot closer, and if not a Chiefs win, had he not been on the field. I mean, it was just freakish, especially that long-range one that he set up for Zell. That was just... I mean, he let the ball bounce twice. I almost thought Gats was going to get it. I was like, man, he's being cavalier here. I was thinking, Gats is going to get it, and then he just sprints past him and then through 2 All Blacks, Sam Cane and Tupou Vai, and then I think he just casually comes across, gets tackled, and then loops the offload to Frizzell, who I thought was great in that game as well, and the rest is
just on
history.
Yeah, just on that, Jip, I reckon, obviously, Nareki, how many times can you actually talk around like a one-man team? You know, there's 15 players that's in a game, but very rarely is there one guy that can dominate a game and actually win a game. But I think the most crucial part of that game was actually his first try. When obviously you talked around Gats putting that kick in. You know, before that, it's 20-6. They've got a guy in the sin bin, and the Chiefs are pretty much on top of them. You know, if that kick goes on and they score in that scenario, you're looking at 27-6, and I think, you know, you start having the conversation around, is it a little bit too far for the Highlanders to come back into it? But it was more so like a 14-point try, you know. So,
mate,
yeah,
the guy that needs the shout out there is, I know Jona Nareki runs the distance there, but it was the guy that came out from the bin is Sio Tompkinson, who got the charge down, because he'd come back on, and I thought he's going to need a big one here, and he gets the charge down as soon as he's back on the field when the skip had just gone on. And I thought, well, he's got one back there, and that was a massive sprint, I know, by Jona, but that was a good effort to get the charge down by Sio Tompkinson there to allow Jona Nareki to run the distance there.
You mentioned Sevu before.
One thing that I've noticed around Jona as well, you look at his time when he's been at playing for Otago and a little bit with the Highlanders, he's always been that kind of nifty and, you know, good skill set and quite quick. But, mate, if you can bump off Sam Cane, who's, you know, probably one of the better tacklers in world rugby pretty easily, I think it just shows how powerful and actually how real strong he is with ball in hand. So I think, mate, triple threat, because he's got a great left foot as well. He's got all the skills around if you want run, kick and pass. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing how he goes in that Form 15 of yours, Jip, moving forward.
He runs between people though, doesn't he? He either steps you or he runs between defenders, and he's got that ability to that first 5 metres sort of pace that, you know, you might think you've got him, but then he just goes like that, and I think that's what both Sammy Cane and Tupou Vai thought. They thought, oh, we've got him covered, because when you saw on replay, it actually looked like they did have him covered, and then he just, almost like a little goosey, and he was gone and just exploded through it with his power. And I mean, those are 2 big boys, and I even looked on the replay and thought, how did he get through that?
Yeah.
Because they still hit him.
Yeah.
Like, it was good contact.
The power to weight ratio of him and Sevu Reece is off the charts, because they're not big men, are they? Yeah, I mean, they're solid, but they're not big men. We were talking about Julian Savia and Celeste Rayasi. I mean, they're big men.
Yeah.
These guys are relatively small, Bryn.
Oh, they're pound for pound. That's probably the best way to put it. Use that in boxing terms, you know, pound for pound. If I'm looking at Savia, for example, he's not tall of, you know, the guy of like a Julian Savia or even the height of Geordie Barrett, but, mate, his power and that kind of power movement into contact, and you think that you've got him, but he's like just a little pocket rocket, a ball of muscle. And so in those close quarters of like the contact, you know, the one that Jip was talking about with Jona, I've seen Sevu as well do the similar thing where you think you've got him, but it's that kind of just a little bit of power movement going into contact that they somehow just find a way to get through it, or offloads and being able to keep that ball alive in game.
It's great to watch.
Oh, it is. Is he making a little bit of a Sevu Reece charge to a black jersey?
What do you do there? How many wingers are there?
Oh, there's a few. There's a number.
Yeah.
They're starting to load up. You know, because Sevu's coming back into form. You've got Caleb Clark. You've got George Bridge, who's rehabbing, probably watching going, Struth, I'm under the pump here, I need to get back out on the field. You've got Will Jordan, who just pops back up and reminds you he's epic.
Yeah.
You know, even though the try was disallowed, he just sprints past everyone. I mean, there's people, I know Julian's come back, but you have to consider him.
Yep.
Like, I know there's people out there saying, you know, he's past it, but I don't think they're watching. Just watch him. Just watch him.
Another thing from that Highlanders Chiefs game, Josh Ioane, Mitchell Hunt. That little axis there looked good. As the game went on, it got better and better and better, didn't it?
Yeah, well, once they started getting that front foot dominance and as we spoke about the Highlanders pack, we were winning those collisions and getting that fast ball from the breakdown. I thought Josh Ioane was looking great, especially when he was running to that line and he was just getting through and sort of enabling him to get his hands free for those offloads and making defenders think. And then, you know, I think Mitch Hunt has that ability to sort of inject himself in that first receiver row. Also, I think they did that same overthrow line-out move, Bryn, that they scored, Connor Garden-Bishop scored against you guys. They threw it over the back and Nareki ended up getting tackled out by Damien McKenzie, but they used it again and Mitch Hunt injected himself in and obviously drew and passed and McKenzie. But yeah, I liked him at fullback, and I think the dual pivot worked really well for them later in the game, and I think Josh really came into his own once he started playing that flat style of game that he's really good at. And I was really impressed with what I saw. You know, we spoke up Oatesy, and you know, it's been a Blues bye, and I haven't got a Blues player in there, so here's my chance. You know, Oatesy last week and the way his game management and a different sort of style of play. But, you know, Josh has certainly, you know, I think put his head in the ring with that performance and the ability to stay calm and composed at 20-0 to sort of orchestrate a comeback. I think both of them need credit, Mitch and Josh, but at 20-0, it's not easy to be looking down the barrel like that. And Tony Brown spoke about his leaders having a big part to play, and I think, you know, Ash Dixon's a big part of that, and Aaron Smith would have been a big part of that, but you know, it always comes down to your 9, 10 and 15 normally, and your hooker, obviously, to get you to that, you know, that place of victory. And you know, Jona Nareki obviously had moments of brilliance, but you still got to get your team in the right area of the field, and those boys were pretty good, I thought, for the most part.
That takes us to the tipping competition, the Sky Sport tipping competition. Go to the Sky Sport website, get in there. You can still get in there right now into the tipping comp. You get the average points from across the way, which will be more than what I've got, certainly more than what I've got. So, with that 10-15 combination, can the Landers beat the Blues in Auckland? This is a stupid question for James Parsons.
No.
Yeah.
The Blues will win.
Yeah.
1-12.
1-12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Landers are good.
Yeah.
I do. I think they're a really good outfit, and they're not a one-man show. Like, Nareki was good, and as I said pre-season, he had spiders on him. He's certainly one to watch. But their forwards are old school, and they roll up your sleeves, and they seem to be sticking with that maul. They're desperate for that maul try, so the Blues will be wanting to nail that maul defence and around that pick and go edges, and they know what's coming. And it's always a big battle, and I think the Highlanders will still be hurting for that last gasp victory that we got against them at Eden Park last year. So it'll be a close one. It always is, Landers Blues. But I think the Blues have got enough. A week off, coming back fresh, a bit of confidence from getting that away win, and first one back at home. And I think, you know, with what Auckland's been through around the lockdown level 3 and getting our fans back out in front of us, hopefully going to level 1. Afternoon footy, we love playing afternoon footy. Eden Park, it's all there, ready to go. The boys just got to fire.
Jeez, you're fizzing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.